Hi guys, Sakib here and welcome to my YouTube channel on Python tutorial series. In this video, we'll see variable assignments in Python. In previous video, we have seen various operations that can be performed on Python numbers. Since they were not stored in a variable, they cannot be reused in a program. Let's type in three data types, that is strings, whole numbers and floating point numbers. Jack, execute, a whole number 20, execute, and a floating point number 67.56. Let's assume this is the data of a student having name Jack, a roll number of 20, and a marks in a specific subject as 67.56. We have just executed them, but these are not stored in any variable, so it cannot be reused in a program. Now we will assign these three in variables and see how they are stored in memory and how they can be reused in a program. I will save the name Jack in a variable, say name. Then we'll save the roll number in, say, roll underscore number equal to 20. Then marks 67.56 in marks variable and execute it. Now these data, that is Jack 20, 67.56, since they have been assigned in a variable, they can be reused in the program. So what's happening here is this name Jack is being assigned to a variable name. This roll number 20 is assigned to a variable name roll number underscore and number, and this mark 67.56 is assigned to a variable name marks. So this equal to sign is nothing but it's an assignment operator. So anything on the right is assigned to a variable on the variable name on the left. Since this data type string number and a floating point number are assigned to a variable name, they can be accessed anytime in a program. So if I want to access a name and type in name and execute it, since it is saved assigned to a variable name, so you can see whatever is stored in that variable, it will be accessed anytime during the program. Similarly, we can access the remaining two data as well, that is roll number and mark. I'll type in roll underscore number, execute, we have the desired roll number. The third one is marks. We start typing MA, so you can auto complete this, so you don't have to type if any variable name is very large, so you don't have to completely type it. You can just start typing MA and just hit the type button. See, the all the functions or any sort of variable that you have created, the options will pop up. So you can choose using arrows of your keyboard or through your mouse. So your marks here, select it, okay, and execute. So we'll get the desired result. Okay, there are certain rules for creating a variable name. Even if you forget these rules which I'm going to mention, the Python will throw an error. So you don't have to memorize it. So first rule is variable name should not start with a number. Say this variable marks, if I started typing it with a number, that is 1 2 marks, and assign it some marks 34.5 and hit execute button, Python will give you an error. So you can't start a variable name with a number. Fine. If I execute now, it will work. The second rule of variable naming is there should not be space between any characters of a variable name. So if I say mark space student and try to save this data, that is 34.5, in this variable name and try to execute it, again it will show an error. So the option for it is you can use underscore. Okay, no space but underscore, and now execute. This will be saved. So this was the second rule, that is no spacing between any characters of a variable name, and instead of spacing you can use underscore. Now third rule is you cannot use special characters. Again I use the same variable type marks say dollar modulus and try to store a variable say 45 and execute, again Python will throw an error. So third rule is you cannot have special characters in a variable. Now if we execute, data will be stored. So the fourth rule is, it's not a rule, but it is better to adopt this method, that is the variable name should always be lowercase. So this marks, we have seen, we have used MER case. Even if you use a capital word, it won't have an effect, or the Python won't show any error, but the general method adopted in Python programming is to use lowercase for all the characters of a variable name. Then the fifth most important rule in variable naming is to avoid usage of internal keywords. So we have discussed the data types and data structures in previous lectures, that is int, float, string. So during that lecture, I had specified internal keywords with which these data types are represented. I'll change this data type into a floating point, say 45.45, execute it. I will check the data type of all of these three variables, that is name, roll number, marks. So for name, it should come as string. For roll number, it should come as integer, and for marks, it should come as, it is we have taken as 45.45 as floating point. So the keyword to check data type of any variable is types. You can see it is highlighted in green, and type in the variable name. First one was our name. So data type of this variable name is string, since we have used to store name Jack, which is a string. Similarly, for roll number, it is int, and for marks, it will be, you can guess, floating point. The fifth rule I was talking about is that you cannot use this inbuilt keywords to create a variable name. So say if I use the keyword int as a variable name and try to save any data type, so this will, Python will throw an error. So you should avoid, and a hint is directly given by Python itself. It is highlighted in clean int, whereas the variable name created by us, that is name, roll number, and marks, they were not highlighted in any such color. Okay, so you don't have to memorize these rules. Python will throw an error and help you out. Variable naming is very useful when the program becomes more and more complex. We'll start with a simple example. Say if I want to do addition of any two numbers, we had initially done like 23 plus 45 and the sum was 68. So this is not useful if you want to reuse or change these values, say 23 and 45 later in the program. So rather than that, we can do like a equal to 23, b equal to 45, and we can do the addition in a third variable sum. So see here, now the fifth most important rule, avoid using internal keywords as a variable name. So I was trying to say, I was going to perform an operation, that is sum equal to a plus b, and save it in the variable sum. But Python is helping me out here by highlighting it in green, showing this is an internal keyword and it should not be used as a variable name. So I will change it in sum1. See, the highlighting, green highlighting is disappeared. Now execute this command. What we are doing here, we have created a variable name a in which we are assigning value 23. So 23 is being saved in a using this assignment operator, that is equal to 45 is being saved in variable b using this assignment equal to, and we are performing the sum operation on a and b which are previously created, and doing the addition and saving it in a third variable sum. Let's execute it. Now later in this program we can access the value of a, value of b, and you can also access the sum of them, so 68. Also you can change the values of a and b anytime during the program. So I can change it to, say, if you want to do addition of 50 and 100, so you can come directly here and change it to, say, 50, a as 50 and b as 100. But do remember, you have to execute this cell for the value of someone to change. If you don't execute this cell, see, if I won't execute, I've made the changes, but I'm not executing this cell. If I could run this line again, you won't get the desired output as 50 plus 100, 150. So before executing this someone here or anyone else in the program, if you have done any changes here, you will have to execute this. You can see the input is 28. After executing this cell, this will become 29. So this is the order in which you are executing. Okay. Now if I execute this sum one variable, you will get the desired output as 150. Okay. So not necessary you have to come up here and change the variable. You can change the values below as well. Say a equal to 200, b equal to 300, and say we get a new variable name sum2 is a plus b. Execute it. Check the value of sum2, that will be as 500. One important thing to note here is Python uses dynamic typing, whereas many other programming languages uses static typing. So the difference between static typing and dynamic typing, we just see the example here. Say I assign the value 30 to variable a and execute it. Now you can check the type of this variable, that will be integer, correct? Later, while coding or programming, you can change the data type of this variable. That is, currently it is of int data type, that is this holding value 30. Later I can save it as a string. Say I'll give a name Jack and execute. Okay. Now if I check the type of this variable, it will be as string. So here you can see initially we have saved it, that is assigned it a integer type or integer value to this variable. Okay. And later in programming you can change it to any other data type. So we have changed the variable type from integer to string. Okay. Whereas in other programming languages, it is statically typed. That is, you cannot change the data type. That is, if you're working on a C, C++ or Java, if you have initially assigned it as an integer type, and later if you try to change it to some other data type, it will throw you an error. We'll end our lecture here. In next tutorial, we'll begin with strings. If you have missed previous videos of this tutorial series, I have given links in the video description. Do check them out. If you found this video to be useful, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.